the opportunity to do great things and create impact. That's what people feel here. They are all mission-oriented. They work directly for the sponsor, which is the customer, and they get immediate feedback on the impact they create. And that's an extremely unique opportunity.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
Well, hello, podcast world, and welcome back. Before we get started, I heard there's a special request out there, and it is from the one and the only Bob Wheeler. So, Bob, what is your special request for today?
Hey, I got a quick special request for the listeners out there. Look, if you enjoy this episode or any other episodes you've been listening to, if you find it helpful, if you find there's tips for you or maybe for a friend, you can easily share these podcasts, even as simple as a text message. You can send it out there. So if you hear something that's cool, share it with the people that you care about.
Sharing is caring, Bob. Absolutely. Well, joining us today is the one and only Dr. Alan Sunstaby, who is the Executive Director of Applied Research Laboratory at Penn State University. Welcome, Alan.
Hey, thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are so happy you are here. And something we like to start with, our very first question, is just a little bit about your career path and kind of your career journey if you have. So tell us a little bit about where you started and how you ended up as the executive director there.
I've had an amazing career journey. It's been a lot of fun. So after I graduated from college, I spent time in industry. I worked on DoD and intelligence community programs. My focus started out working on shipboard and ground-based signal collection systems, and then I made the pivot and started working on space-based systems. And then in 1994, I had an amazing opportunity to join ARL. So I joined the lab as a senior engineer. They had a need for a program manager to manage a program that was composed of a global sensor system. So I got to spend time in Alaska, the South Pacific. I mean, all of the cool places you want to go, I had time to do there. And then I was hooked on ARL. When I finished that program, we have an amazing professional development structure. So I was able to finish my PhD. And then I found out about another program that's available to universities. This is a program where a university employee can sit in a federal position for several years. So I applied for and I was selected to serve as the chief scientist of what's now the Navy Cryptologic Warfare Development Group. It's basically the research component of the Navy's 10th Fleet. So I started that on June 1st, 2001. The plan was to help map out the Navy's cyber strategy. And then September 11th happened and everything pivoted. And that time we went to full speed programs on how do you rapidly mature science and technology into capabilities that would help support our national security. So in this role, I saw firsthand how critical it is to identify fundamental areas of science and rapidly mature that science and technology into capability. After that position was over, my wife and I returned to ARL and we decided we're not going anywhere else. We are going to stay here. This was the place, and it has not disappointed. And then on December 1st, 2019, I got selected as the executive director. And this is truly the best job I've ever had. And I'm here till the end. It's an amazing place.
That's a great story, Alan. Been working in the cleared industry for a long time now. I've been here for 10 years. And things like research labs are not all that common, but you guys have been around for a long time. So I think there's a lot of our listeners that might not even know what a research lab does. You know, if you had to talk about maybe like the mission and the purpose of the Applied Research Lab, like, you know, how big are you guys? What do you do? What's going on up there at Penn State?
So we are part of Penn State University. We are completely embedded within the university. And Penn State is one of the first land-grant universities created when Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Land Grant Act in 1862. Part of the land-grant mission is performing research in the applied sciences to support national security. So at ARL, our mission is to support national security, economic competitiveness, and quality of life through education, scientific discovery, technology demonstration, and then most importantly, technology transition. We push it out to the defense industrial base. So we're also what's known as a UARC, or University Affiliated Research Center. And part of that, we work almost exclusively for the government, and we demonstrate the art of the possible. We are their trusted agents. So as far as the size of the laboratory now, we are a little over 1,600 people. Most of us in central Pennsylvania. However, we have offices in DC, the Pacific Northwest, San Diego, and several other locations.
Very cool. So something you mentioned, so many acronyms out there. The ARL is also a UARC and, ABC, 1, 2, 3. But can you explain to us, with it being affiliated with the University Research Center, can you explain really what that means in the way that you approach research?
Yeah, good question. So UARC, or University Affiliated Research Center, is a designation that the DoD came up with in the mid-1990s. And the purpose of the UARCs is to ensure that critical scientific competencies are maintained. And they're typically, the UARCs are located at the larger research universities. And what we do is we ensure that these competencies are available to the national security community, including the defense industrial base. Now, UARCs, what's a little bit unique about us, we have very strict organizational conflict of interest rules, and we almost exclusively work directly for the government. So again, as I said previously, our role is to serve as a trusted agent for the government in our areas of competency. And we perform basic and applied research, rapid prototyping. We identify areas of risk, and then we usually work with an industry partner to transition that knowledge and lessons learned. So as far as the types of research we do, we work at what's called the Technology Readiness Level, or TRL 1 level, which is basic research, up through TRL 6, which is prototyping and demonstrating in a relevant environment. So I mentioned that all UARCs have competencies that they're expected to maintain. At ARL, our competencies can be summarized at the top level as undersea systems, such as weapons, autonomous undersea vehicles, and all the enablers that make them work, such as power and energy, guidance and control. Also, fluid dynamics and acoustics, materials manufacturing sustainment, navigation, directed energy and high energy lasers, sensor technologies, and cyber and information.
Holy moly, that's a lot of stuff. You mentioned, Alan, Applied Research Labs, 80 years old coming up. 80th anniversary is right around the corner. When you look at what ARL has done in the past, is there anything that's like really kind of stands out that you're super proud of? And then a second part of this question, especially for our job seekers, can you give us a sneak peek? What's on the horizon? What's coming up that's going to be really cool and exciting?
Yeah, so we are very excited. This is our 80th anniversary year. We were established in January 1945, and we grew out of World War II, the initiatives of President Roosevelt at the time to establish these laboratories across the country. So our first 80 years have been extremely impactful. And as you look across the services, I see technologies that ARL has developed and transitioned with our government and industry partners all over the place, from ships and submarines to land platforms to satellites and things in the cyber domain. So one thing we can talk about here is every propulsor for every modern submarine has been designed and scale tested here at ARL and with our government Navy Warfare Center laboratories. So we're very, very proud of that. So at ARL, artificial intelligence and machine learning is a horizontal cross-cutting technology. We are doing that in all of our offices. So when you look to the future, one thing that we're looking towards and we're working on are truly autonomous undersea vehicles for long-duration operations, exquisite undersea imagery from systems such as synthetic aperture sonars, a design of the Mission Operations Center for the future on the materials side, resilient and self-healing materials, new undersea propulsion technologies, precision navigation and timing in GPS-denied environments, and integration of AI with quantum communications, and overall exquisite sensor technologies. And the best part of working at ARL is that you're defining the future. I mean, that's what we do.
I feel like there's a lot of amazing reasons to work there, but that's a pretty convincing reason to step on in. So 80th anniversary, that's kind of a big deal. I was just looking up, like, what do you give somebody for their 80th anniversary? And spoiler alert, it's oak. So I'm not real sure what I'm going to send to you, Alan, for oak. That's a little hard to gift. But I'm sure y'all have some great ideas on how you want to celebrate that 80th anniversary. So what are y'all going to do? Any big plans to really celebrate bringing in that 80th year of goodness?
No, exactly. 80 is very, very, very special. And the fact, when you look at the changing environments that we have have grown, and not only grown, but thrived throughout those 80 years. So we started our celebration in January at our annual ARL Awards Banquet, where we recognize the outstanding achievements of our team. And then later in the year, we have a day at Hershey Park for our staff and their families. And for those that aren't familiar, Hershey Park is the largest amusement park in Pennsylvania, and it has the dual distinction of Hershey, Pennsylvania being the sweetest place on earth. So we're really excited about that.
Chocolate's always a good idea, right?
Yes.
That sounds like a great time. Hey, Alan, this podcast, we're focused on folks that have security clearances, and ARL needs people with security clearances. In that regard, what kind of skills are you looking for? What kind of clearance levels too? Are these lower level clearances? Are they high level clearances?
Yeah, so of our 1,600 faculty, staff, and I'll include students in that, almost all of them have security clearances. And our baseline clearance is typically at the secret level, but then we work up through top secret, SCI, with full scope poly. And the types of folks we're looking for, of course, we're a technology focused laboratory, so research and development engineers and research faculty, engineering support specialists and technicians that work alongside our researchers. On the business side, we're looking for accountants, purchasing managers, contract negotiators, proposal specialists, IT on the research side, and as well as the enterprise side, we're looking for cloud architects and folks to work the help desk. Designers, electrical mechanical designers, facility operations, supply chain analysts. Of course, since we're doing classified work, security services from physical security, personnel security, ComSec, OPSEC, compliance. Across the board, we are hiring.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that your footprint is not just at State College, PA, but you mentioned DC. You mentioned also stuff Pacific North. Are your cleared positions also all over the place? Or are they mostly just in DC, mostly in State College, or where are they at?
At all of our locations. So our footprint is Central Pennsylvania, University Park. And then I mentioned we've got 2 offices in Pittsburgh in the Freeport and North Point area. On the other side of the state, a little bit northeast of Philadelphia, we have an office in Warminster. We mentioned Reston, Virginia, and then Annapolis Junction, Maryland, in the National Business Park area. Pacific Northwest in Keyport, Washington, San Diego, and then Key West, Florida as well.
Tough sell with that one, huh?
I know.
So something it sounds like y'all have had some success with is SkillBridge program there at the lab, where we know the transitioning military, they have the chance to both go to school and intern with you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's something we're really, really proud of, is the SkillBridge program. So we found out about it several years ago, and we took the opportunity to pilot it for Penn State University. So we became an authorized SkillBridge partner in December of 22. Penn State picked it up in 2024, and we are extremely proud that we are the first university in the Big Ten to be a SkillBridge partner. But since we established it, we've had 15 completed internships across the domain, from cybersecurity to sysadmins, logistics, engineering support, and just various R&D and engineering roles.
You mentioned you were able to finish kind of your PhD as you were there. So are they also able to attend school?
So after SkillBridge interns complete their internship with ARL, they can get a degree at Penn State using their GI Bill benefits. They can continue working for ARL while attending Penn State, earning money in a full-time or part-time position, or they can just continue their career full-time upon graduation.
Pretty awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's great. We've talked about getting hired at the research lab there. You had a great story. Are there, I don't know if I say similar opportunities to become the director like you've come up, but are there career opportunities at the Applied Research Lab? Is it the kind of a place where people can kind of stay and grow?
Great question. This morning, I just did our quarterly new hire orientation. Our auditorium was full of new hires. And I told the story because when they come here, in my case, I was planning to come here temporarily. But the opportunity to do great things and create impact, that's what people feel here. They are all mission oriented. They work directly for the sponsor, which is the customer, and they get immediate feedback on the impact they create. And that's an extremely unique opportunity.
And benefits wise, you touched on the fact that people can go to school, but I got a note here. You got some deals for the dependents of the people that you hire. Is that right? Am I reading that correct?
You are reading it correct. And that is a great recruitment tool. It's a benefit we enjoy. So first off, the university benefits are amazing as far as paid time off, between 12 and 18 hours of vacation per month, 8 hours sick time, 16 paid holidays throughout the year, and then there's other leave available for bereavement, military active duty deployments, etc. But you brought up is the tuition discount for spouses and dependents is amazing. So as long as you're dependent, if your child, for example, is under 26, 75% off their tuition discount. And if you are working for us out of state, you're able to get the in-state tuition and then 75% off that.
I mean, does it get any better than that?
No, that's a game changer.
That is. I'm jealous of that as in the recruiting space. That's a great benefit to sell there. So you've told us a great story. We've learned some history. We've heard all of the great technology, all of the different pieces. So I know we're going to have some listeners that would like to get in touch with you or members of your team. So how in the heck can they get in touch with you, Alan?
So we are extremely active on LinkedIn. So message direct to Tina Kephart, Jen Smoyer, or RJ Sable on LinkedIn. You can also message us directly on the page. And if you want to do email, an email to recruit, RECRUIT, at arl.psu.edu. Recruit at arl.psu.edu. But LinkedIn, email, and just check out our postings. You can go to the HR website, select ARL, and you will see we currently have over 200 positions open.
Well, Alan, it was an absolute pleasure to get to meet you and spend a little time with you today. We thank you for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to meet with us and share all of the goodness of ARL here for all of our listeners. So thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for what you all do, helping us find great people.
Absolutely. Well, that was fun. And what an incredibly interesting organization they have there at ARL at Penn State. Loved hearing about all of the different benefits, all of the cool things, but really loved the investment, not only that they're making with SkillBridge and how they're allowing folks to do that internship, get that degree or second degree or third degree, but also for all of their family members that might be interested, those dependents, get that heavily discounted rate to get their great education. So much I could talk about. I also loved the history component, Bob, but I'm going to stop talking, and I would love to hear what you thought was amazing about our conversation today.
Well, yeah, besides those great benefits, which you're right, they were pretty amazing. I'm going to go big picture on this one. I mean, he kept talking about defining the art of the possible, being the prototype of things, looking into the future, everything from artificial intelligence to machine learning. But they need all kinds of people. So you don't have to be doing those specific things to be working there. But the projects that they're working on is really, really cutting edge. And I think that's the best of what the universities kind of offer even to the federal government. So that's my takeaway. They're doing some of the really coolest stuff out there.
And also super cool is that you stayed and listened to the entire episode with Bob and I, learning all sorts of great things. So make sure you continue to listen. We love having you here. Thanks for following us. And until next time, bye-bye.